Okay, so tonight's scripture is from Psalm 58. For the director of music, to the tune of Do Not Destroy of David and Miktam. Do you rulers indeed speak justly? Do you judge people with equity? No, in your heart you devise injustice, and your hands mete out violence on the earth. Even from birth the wicked go astray. From the womb they are wayward, spreading lies. Their venom is like the venom of a snake, like that of a cobra that has stopped its ears, that will not heed the tune of the charmer, however skillful the enchanter may be. You know, I've been watching politics the last week, and I feel like I need to say something about this so-called Equality Act. Now, politicians today are extremely good at naming things the exact opposite of what they actually mean. And what I mean by that is, they name bills and laws with a certain name. It gives them a nice, beautiful sounding name, and it sounds equitable and just and good and right. But in fact, a lot of these bills that are passed do the exact opposite of what they're saying, and this Equality Act is one of those. They're claiming that this Equality Act is going to give more equality to transgender people, people who have sex changes, transsexuals, etc., which in fact in this country is a minority of, I think, less than 1% of our population. But they're calling it the Equality Act. Notice that. Democrats are calling this the Equality Act. But in fact, what it's going to do is, frankly, do a lot of damage to a lot of people. Specifically, like, it will do damage to, for instance, Christian charities, like the Little Sisters of the Poor, that Catholic charity that those nuns run for old people and disabled people. This so-called Equality Act strips religious freedom from the Little Sisters of the Poor and other Christian groups as well, Protestant Christian groups that do charity work. And it strips religious freedom from these groups. And you say, well, how does it do that? I'm not seeing that. How can you say that? And well, here it is. Built into the law, this Equality Act, it supersedes the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993, signed into law by President Bill Clinton, a Democrat, by the way, who had enough sense to try to protect religious freedoms in this country. Bill Clinton was not the most moral man in the White House, as we know, but he at least had the sense to sign that bill, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act of 1993, which gave, ensured religious freedom for people that hold to certain religious beliefs, like Catholics that are pro-abortion, or pro-life, or other Christians that are pro-life, or other Christians that, like specifically conservative Christians, that believe that marriage is just for a man and a woman, as the Bible teaches, to be honest. As Jesus stated, he made them man and woman from the beginning, and the two shall become one flesh. Right there, Jesus was teaching that man and woman are the only people that should be getting married. And he was telling the Pharisees this. The teaching he was giving was actually on divorce, but it also applies, I believe, to the fact that marriage is reserved for men and women, the genders that God made. Of course, today, the left, the political left in this country, and the religious left too, by the way, because they do the same thing. They're trying to say that transgenders, transsexuals, and people should have special rights that gives them special rights to be completely immune from any sort of what they call discrimination, except the problem with that is, as we've seen in the last 5, 6, 7 years, like with the Christian baker in Colorado, when homosexual marriage was passed, remember that? During the Obama era, gay marriage was passed across the nation. Well, and then this Christian baker in Colorado was sued by homosexuals who wanted a cake baked for their gay wedding. And he said, no, I can't. That's against my religious beliefs. I can't do that. Okay, so this, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act is supposed to protect people like that, like this Christian baker. Now, he already won his case at the Supreme Court, but guess what? They sued him again for the third time. They've sued that Christian baker. Now, if this so-called Equality Act passes, what makes you think that the radical gay crowd, the radical transgender, transsexual crowd is not going to do the same thing and try and sue, say, like Christian ministries, or say somebody like at my son's former college, his alma mater of Colorado Christian University, and a transsexual decides to try and get a job there, and the administration says, well, we have a code of ethics that follows the Bible, and we can't hire people who are women that say they're men, or that are men that say they're women. We can't do that because it goes against our religious code of ethics. It goes against our teachings that the Bible that we hold to. Well, in that case, if this Equality Act passes, that person will be able to sue my son's former college that he graduated from, saying, well, I'm suing you and using the Equality Act, which supersedes the 1993 Religious Freedom Restoration Act. Therefore, I'm suing you for $10 million. And there's a good chance that that person would win that case against a Christian college like my son's alma mater. Or they could sue the Little Sisters of the Poor, say, and say, well, I want to join your religious order and I'm a transsexual. And they would say, well, you can't do that. That's against our teachings. And that person could sue the Little Sisters of the Poor and say, well, you're violating the Equality Act. You see the danger that this law presents? It presents a danger, and in the name of equality for a tiny little minority of less than 1% of our population, it will actually create a great deal of danger for lots of other people in this country. And of course, Democrats on the left and liberals and progressives will say, no, 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 that's not true. It's not going to hurt anybody. But we already know that they do that kind of stuff because we've seen what they use the homosexual marriage law for. And so we know that they will use laws like this to go after and attack religious people.